Good evening and welcome to our first meeting of the Redevelopment Commission for 2024. I will introduce those at the table with me tonight. We have our Secretary, Chris Meter, our members, Rhonda Schwartz and Adam Young. We also have our school representative, Eric Roseborough. Also at the desk with us is our town manager / economic director for the time, Grant Kleinhens. And in the audience this evening is our executive assistant, Eder Lopez. There's another face up here tonight, but we'll get to that shortly. There has been a confirmation of a quorum. I have performed the confirmation of the quorum tonight. A proper notice of the meeting was previously given. So with us tonight here at the desk is Jacob Blaisdell. Welcome.
Great. Thank you
For joining us. We'll move on to the election of our officers for this year. So I will entertain a motion to present a slate of officers.
I will make a motion on a slate of officers that we elect Jennifer Miller as president, Jacob Blaisdell as vice president, and Chris Meter as secretary.
Great. I have a motion. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Great. I have a motion and a second. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Passes 5-0. Welcome, everybody. All right. I don't see anyone in the audience with us from the public tonight. Any previous public comment?
Nothing was received prior to the meeting.
All right. Eder also previously sent out our meeting minutes from the last meeting. Are there any other additions or corrections from the group? All right, we'll go ahead and approve those by consent. Next is approval of claims and expenses. Grant, if you could go over any ones to highlight.
You will notice that the amount this month is significantly higher than is typical for us. Why is that the case? It's because we made all of our bond payments at the end of the year, and this is your first opportunity to approve those. So the bottom 11, with the exception of Veritas, there are 11 payments to U.S. Bank. They are our trustee for all of those bonds. Those 11 different debt payments total $2,238,233.75. The remainder of the bills are pretty much our standard operating fare. We have a bill for our London Witty Group CPAs for their services for November and December and September and October. I can't remember if we just received the bills late, but we did meet in December, but we're now approving those. The phone charges for the town hall or municipal center, Adobe Suite, the annual update, and then Bose McKinney and Evans put together some documentation for a taxpayer agreement for Founders Square that is still kind of in the process, and but they did spend time on that. And then we have a gate arm charge of $47. So all told, this covers the period of 12/15/23 through 1/17 of 24, and the grand total is $2,247,287.73. I'll answer any questions that you might have.
Any questions for Grant on that? All right. Whew. Glad it's not my bank account. All right. I will entertain a motion to approve the claims and expenses as submitted.
I'll make a motion to approve them. I think paying our, it's a big number, but paying our debt is very important, so we should go ahead and continue to do that.
I'll back that, and I'll second.
Thank you both. I will go ahead and vote. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Passes 5-0. All right, on to Grant with our director's report.
So just a couple of items this month. We are in the process, and on the agenda tonight is a quote to replace the gate arm that has been affected by someone driving through it. So that's unfortunate. That's happened a couple of months ago, and we've been working on trying to get that replaced and repaired. The Pocket Park at the 1300 block on Main Street has made progress. They have finished about 95% of all the flat concrete work and the stamped concrete. If you remember, we took all of that out, and that has been all put back, not at our cost either. That was poor workmanship, didn't live up to the plans and our expectations, so we required them to remove that. There is still a little bit of discussion about signing off on final pay request for that so that they can continue moving forward. I had hoped to have that ready for this evening, but we were unable to get through that. My guess is they'll be done with that in the next month. We're hoping. Now, we are going into some warmer weather upcoming, but it's still going to be cold until March. So those are kind of my two items. The sign is still on, being fabricated at the gateway. We still hope that that will be delivered in February and that they will install that by the end of that month. Remember, we're charging them $100 per day, liquidated damages, and they're going to owe us somewhere between, or it will be reduced from a bill, I think around at this point, $12,000 to $13,000. So I'll answer any questions that you might have about the report or any things that you might have interest in asking about.
No questions, but I did see the pocket park. It did look pretty good as far as what they've got going on over there, so it's exciting to see that get repaired.
It wasn't retaining any water.
Yeah,
Great.
Yeah.
That's a good thing.
They poured it
Yeah.
properly, yeah. It's interesting, we had issues with that pretty early on, and they were brought up, and the contractor just continued to make the same mistakes, and we're like, you got to stop this. I think that could have been stopped and saved them a lot of time and effort and money, but they wouldn't take our advice. So,
Yeah, I've reached out to Tammy Smith, our Parks Director, to start collaborating on a opening event for the Pocket Park. So I'm excited to welcome the community in and kick it off.
we still have to identify a name for that, by the way. Just everyone might want to be thinking about that, and we can't use Jacob Blaisdell Park. Yeah. You know, it was, yeah, we had talked about previously naming it after a specific SRC member who passed, but that didn't necessarily work out. So we've got to come up with something so that we can refer to it other than just the Pocket Park on Main Street. That might not be a bad name, though. It's very descriptive. So anyway, that's all I have for this evening. Thank you.
Any other questions for Grant? All right, we'll move on to our new business for this evening. One on the agenda and then one that I'll be adding, but we'll go ahead with the gate arm replacement. Do you have just a little bit to add on?
Yes, so as I mentioned, there was damage done to that gate. It was destroyed, and it has been not functioning since that time, about 2 months ago, 2.5 months ago, really. So with this approval this evening, they will put on order the arm replacement, but it's about 2 to 4 weeks out. So my guess is we will not have that ready until end of February, maybe the 1st of March. But remember, we only really use it at certain times of the year to prevent certain people from parking in that because of what's going on. So it shouldn't be a negative impact to us. But we do recommend this quote. They were the installer. Their arm matches. We think it's a reasonable price. We would prefer not to have to pay it, but it is what it is. So that amount is $1,181. And as I said, from your acceptance and when we sign this and send it back, 2 to 4 weeks, that should be in, and they'll get it installed.
Right. And I think also the discussion was that in the meantime, we're going to keep it in the up position, and we're going to look into options for security cameras for the area.
Yeah.
So.
I think we had discussed a security camera only to understand if someone has run through it and who that car was. Mm-hmm. That would be really the only real security.
I'm assuming we don't know who that car was.
We do not, yeah.
So now we will. Great. Well, I will entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion that we replace the gate arm at 4904 West 16th Street.
I second that.
Thank you. I will go ahead and vote. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Passes 5-0. One item that I'd like to add to the agenda tonight is approval to extend an offer for economic director for Speedway. Grant, did you want to add a little bit to that?
Sure, we have interviewed several candidates, and at this point, the majority of the members of the group, including the council, are in favor of extending an offer to that candidate. We won't name that candidate tonight, but we will. What I'm also asking is that your motion authorize me to work with legal counsel to create an acceptable agreement make that offer and do that negotiation, bringing it back to you, subject to your approval as well as the town council.
Great. Any questions for Grant? Okay, I'm going to try and say this
Sure.
all together. Can I please have a motion to approve extending an offer for economic director and giving the town manager authorization to
Create and negotiate
negotiate?
an agreement, and then bring that back for ratification by the SRC and the town council at some point in the near future.
Yep,
I think I put it sufficient,
Yep.
isn't it?
thanks. Well, I will entertain a motion as stated.
I make a motion that we extend an offer or prepare and extend an offer for the new economic development director.
Great. All right, we'll take it to a vote. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye.
Nay.
Any opposed?
One.
Great. Passes 4-1. All right, I don't see any old business on the agenda. Are there any upcoming events for the community to be aware of?
On the 17th, February 17th, the Mardi Gras in Maine will be happening. There's also a group organizing a, not an official 100 days out, but they're a meet and greet or on Main Street. It's not a town or a chamber event, but they're planning that. So the more the merrier out there on the 17th of February.
Great. Well, bundle up and join us. Great. I will go ahead and adjourn the meeting at 6:12.